What's up, everybody? Today we're talking Donald Trump's plan for the black community and the life of award-winning journalist Gwen Ifill.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live this week.
I feel like I want to drop a beat,
Do it.
but I can't, so I won't, because I'm whack.
Are you taking on Rachel today?
I can't rap. I can dance. I can't rap. I know my calling, and that's not it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Black Hollywood Live this week. I am your host, Derrial Christon, and joining me today is the beautiful Courtney Stewart.
Oh, thanks,
and you're pink.
Derrial.
You're matching the BHL logo
matching
right
my
there.
logo. I have my mug. Life is good.
Life is good. DJ Jesse J.
What's up?
And
Happy birthday, Rachel.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Rachel.
birthday.
Truman's
Happy
not here
birthday.
today.
Rachel.
We miss you, Rachel. We'll see you next week.
Love it.
Doing your non-dance steps. I'm just playing. But joining us today, our very special guest. He's a writer, actor, producer, Andre Boyer, and he's from Japan. He's just all around cool dude. You know what I'm saying?
Try to be.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're going to be talking about your web series later on in the show, so you guys
Yes.
definitely tune in and stay checked in for this because you got a lot of great things to say. But we're going to start it off with our hot topics of the day.
Yeah.
Boom. All right, guys. But before we do that, was Tribe Called Quest, We the People, off their new album,
Check it
We
out.
Got This.
It's
So make sure you guys
so
check it out.
good.
The album's really dope. All right, what else is dope is that this Congresswoman Emily Ellsworth, she used to work for a Republican Jason Shatif in Salt Lake City. She is now a based writer and editor out there, and she had some interesting tweets recently. She said, you know, with everything going on, I just want you guys to know that tweeting at congressmen doesn't really get you far. Writing Facebook posts won't get you too far. But she wants everyone to know how they can communicate, how you can connect in positive ways of making sure that, you know, your Congress hears you. So here are some of them. She said, writing a letter is better than an email. What happens is everyone sends in emails because it's so easy to send an email that they have an algorithm in which they get kind of organized, and then, you know, it takes a little time
No
to
one ever sees it.
actually
Right.
get to them.
Exactly.
Well, people do see it, but then they get prioritized, and it takes longer
Or
to
does
get
it
down.
mysteriously
And
go to
some people
spam?
get form letters. Just
No,
based
they
on
have
things that
they have
are-
staffers for it, but it just got to go through a whole bunch of people. So she said writing a letter is a better chance. But she said, really, you wouldn't even think this, but the best way is to call, because if you call, you have to speak to somebody, and they do pick up, and they will transfer you, and you might have to wait a little bit, or they will call you back. But you'd be surprised how many people don't actually call.
I wouldn't think to
Yeah.
call. I would think like they never call me back.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that was the biggest thing about it. She said one time there was a radio DJ, and he was upset with something, and he gave the number out on air, and she said it was like a tidal wave.
Yes.
Whoa.
It was like their office had never experienced that
Because
before.
the districts are required to answer the phone calls. So somebody got to answer that phone call. So if you inundate them with phone calls, you're going to get some
You're gonna
attention.
get some
Because they're going to be like, I am not answering this phone no more. Talk to this person and figure it out.
And
So,
then she
I love
said,
that.
really important is phone etiquette. Understand that the people picking up the phone have no power at all to change anything that you're doing. So if you're nice to them, though, they're people just like you. They want change, and they actually want to help you reach the big people. So she said, be nice.
So they're like calling the cable company.
You know, well,
Because you never get the person on the cable cable call.
I go
Time
ham.
Warner calling you out.
No.
Every time I call Time Warner, that person on the phone never can help me. But yet when I say, can I speak to a supervisor? Then they're like, oh yeah, but if you're nice to them, they're like,
They're like-
hey, let me see what I can do. I'll do this a little bit before the supervisor comes on. You know.
Child,
So
they
it's
have
similar.
like 5 supervisors before the real supervisor gets on. I
Right.
can't tell
The supervisor
That's a
before the
different
supervisor.
story
Right.
than right now, my anxiety. But she said another really interesting way is you'd be surprised how many people don't actually go to town meetings. She said we would
true.
have town meetings all the time, and only 50 people would show up, and it'd be the same 50 people complaining about the same 50 things. So if you think about it, maybe you know what I mean? The changes you'd like to be made aren't being heard because you aren't actually getting them to the people.
Yeah.
You're out in the streets
Yeah.
protesting. That's not where these people are, the staffers. She said, and then the other thing is if you have, not really protest, but if you are to have meetings and whatnot, to invite the staffers from the office, because then if they're involved, they're in the building with the congressman. They can have these conversations. So, and you wouldn't think to do that. I wouldn't think to, oh yeah, I'm going to invite the receptionist over at, but
That's true.
you put it in the ear. I thought it was really cool that she
Actually,
did
those are
that.
great tips.
Yes.
Boom.
I'm glad she did that.
All right, so now this other thing, Twitter is kind of iffy about it, and I think I'm kind of against it. So it's safety pins.
Quiet. Clear the air.
Some
Real quiet.
genius white person at Joann's Fabric thought that if they take safety pins and they wear them, it's a sign of some Twitter people called it salvation. But it's a no room for hate campaign. So basically,
Just a regular safety pin.
yeah, just wear a regular safety pin. I'm like, clearly these people, whoever's thought of this does not live in LA, because that's like a fashion statement out here for people that I would be cautious to be just walking up to. But basically, you wear a safety pin, and that way people, minorities and people of color, can know that you are a safe person. You will not harm them, and if they see something negative happening, they will help save you, or they will keep you safe.
Okay, so the,
And I'm gonna find the Twitter thing, because that literally was like one of the tweets, and I didn't know how to like.
Why is it taking
yeah,
a
I
safety
saw
pin?
I saw that tweet, so I was just trying to figure out. So the safety pin represents safety. Is
Yes.
that- that's our whole
That they're
thing.
a safe
That's
white.
it. This okay.
That
All right.
that is standing in
Okay.
solidarity
All
with
right.
the movement.
Now-
They're with us, though.
They're with
They're with us.
They're with us.
Power
So
to the
they're
people.
trying to have
Safety
a
pins.
positive message. Like,
Yeah.
we're not one of them. We don't support what Trump said and what he's doing. Like, we're safe. We
Safe
believe
place.
in what you guys are going through.
Okay, I mean
Wait,
theoretically.
please let me
No,
read this.
theoretically, it's a hot mess.
Please let me read this.
It's hot messery, but theoretically it's a good concept. I mean,
Okay,
I get it.
Right. Or is it white guilt? My safety pin shows I will protect those who feel in danger because of gender, sexuality, race, disability, religion. You are safe with me. It's just the wording, you don't look like you could save me in any way, shape. Now, if it's on some you're gonna let me hide in your we aren't at gay conversion therapy yet, okay? So. I appreciate that I could eat at your
Jesse
restaurant.
Wow, I'm gonna take a sip of water on that.
Conversion therapy.
Honey, I've been
Never heard of that.
Oh, you're gonna hear a lot today. Let me tell you.
Mike
Awesome.
Pence, honey.
Let's do- oh, wow.
But yeah, so
I mean,
You're not feeling it.
They try.
my people trying.
They try.
They care. They really
care.
do. They just want to prove that everybody out there ain't bad, all right, or evil.
But
But
the missing link to that is that we don't actually think everybody out there is bad, and we never have.
Right.
The point is
Exactly.
that you show me your belief and support for me when you stand up to the people that I don't get to get into the room with to stand
Exactly,
up to.
yeah.
So to me, it was just a cheesy cop out way to be like, see, I'm on the team, I'm one of the good guys. No, show me you're one of the good guys. Not just wearing a pin. Speak to those people, stand up to those people, be a part of the Black Lives Matter or whatever movement you find in your area to help do something. I don't need you to wear no safety pin. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're a safe white. Thanks.
You're safe.
I'll walk with
Hey
you.
there, safe white. Hey, safe white guy. Nice to meet you.
Seems really
Yeah.
ridiculous and a really easy way to get out of actually doing something.
Right. No, I feel you. I mean, yeah, like you said, they should be out there using their voice to let the Congress and let everyone else know how they really feel about these things and these issues that we keep having. As we have seen with some people who have been out there protesting, with the Black Lives Matter, who are non-African American. So, that's the better way to go, I
Or
think.
talk to all your friends who voted for Trump. You ain't even got to go to Congress. Talk to your friends, because I'm going to guess you got at least one that did.
Everybody
or
does.
two,
Or 2 or
statistically.
3 or 4 or
Yeah,
5.
statistically.
Is there a
you got two.
statistic?
The percentages are
Statistically.
ridiculous.
There was really a percentage that came out like that?
Yeah, they said that for every person, there's 2 people that are your friends that voted for Trump that didn't tell you. Doesn't matter what race you are.
Well, what I'm going to tell y'all is maybe you want to get away from all this political talk.
I know, we're getting there. We just had it last week.
So my question is how is your fantasy football season going?
I haven't won any money
Mine's
yet.
going great. So what's that? You're starting running back, pull a hamstring? That's fine, because you can go to DraftKings.com, and no matter what it is, every week is a new season, so you can start fresh every week, win a whole bunch of money. Like we keep telling you, they have the 50-50 contest, so if you make it in the top,
half.
you gonna win.
Top half, you win some money.
800th place won some money. Like, that's
Yes.
just, why wouldn't you sign up for something like that? You know what I'm saying? So there you guys have it. Every week, brand new season, DraftKings.com. Don't wait. Start your new season at DraftKings.com right now. And here's the promo code GEEK, GEEK. And play free with your first deposit. That's code GEEK to play free for your share of over $100,000 in total prizes this weekend only at DraftKings.com. Eligibility and restrictions may apply. See site for details. Boom.
That's my favorite part when you
I
do
know,
that.
when
When
you
you
like go
change your
into that
voice up
voice.
like that.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
I respect
I think you need to get hired by
You do
DraftKings.
so well.
I like that.
Please hire me and
Right
give me some
now.
coin.
Give them some coin, please.
Give them some coins.
You should start wearing coins on your shirt.
There you go.
So, to
Not only
represent
are
that you
you
need
fake
coins.
white, but
Give
you
them.
make coins.
Give them
Give them
coins.
to me.
Coins.
But you want coins.
Like Mario. Bling.
All right, thanks, Jesse. Courtney,
You're
I know you got
welcome,
some-
D.
Thank you.
You're
Courtney, I know you got some fun stuff for us.
I do. I actually have some positive stories. I got the positive stories this week, everybody. Usually I get like the hostile ones, but I got great stories this week. Okay, so first up, we have a 21-year-old young man named Jewel Jones.
Great.
It might be Jewel, but I'm going to go with Jewel. Jewel Jones in Michigan, guys. He is the youngest ever state senator voted into office.
I love this. Yeah.
And he's 21 years old. He's a full-time student over at University of Michigan Dearborn. This is the second time he's made history because just a year ago, at 20 years old, he was the first youngest person to ever sit on the city council in Inkster, Michigan. And now he is a state representative.
That's
and
great.
he ran and he got over 60% of the vote. Over 20,000 people voted for him. And he said, quote, "You and I made history once again. I'm looking forward to serving you all in a greater capacity." So Jewel Jones, I'm sure we're going to keep our eye on you because who knows, y'all, by 2020?
Maybe running for president?
Running
is that
for
what you're gonna say?
president.
Well, and as we know, Michigan has had its difficulties with a
For
lot
sure.
of things. And to have
More than
someone
one.
young like that to be kind of like the next, we've talked about this before, like there's
Yeah.
not a lot of millennials or younger people that we
That are
see are like stepping up to take
take-
that step. And he has. And congratulations to him.
And not a lot of media giving him a lot of play.
Exactly.
And this is an inspiration right here because if we can start getting, you know what I mean, the younger
Steering.
generations to look like, wait a minute, I could actually step foot in a building like that and
No, for
actually
sure. It's my
take
voice.
this,
At 21
take
years
that
old.
tie on like that. Look at him with his sharp little tie. That's what I'm saying.
And he's still in school.
Still in
like
school,
he's
yeah.
not doing it a little bit. He's doing it all the way, brother. So congratulations.
We
Best
support
of
you.
luck. We
Come on,
support
Black Hollywood
you.
Live. We
Come
wanna
talk to
we wanna
us. I
talk
would
to you
love to
about
talk to you.
what your initiatives are.
And what you've been up to. All right. Okay. So, well, back to this whole Black Lives Matter thing. We've been all upset because they weren't, charging nobody with nothing and all these murders that have occurred. But we got some good news this week, guys. Philando Castile, those of you guys that don't remember, he was shot the day after Alton Sterling was shot, and he was shot in the car with a 4-year-old child and his girlfriend sitting right there by a police officer by the name of Geronimo Yanez. And this week we learned that Yanez will be facing charges for shooting Philando Castile. He is up on a manslaughter charge, and he also has 2 felony accounts of a dangerous discharge of a firearm. Those 2 charges came because he discharged his firearm while there was a 4-year-old sitting in the back seat and another woman sitting in the car. The judge basically said Yanez's use of deadly force was not justified as he never removed or tried to remove the gun that he had in his pocket during the traffic stop. Speaking of Philando, so we all saw it on Facebook Live because girlfriend recorded it. Thank goodness she actually did record it because his argument was that the guy had a gun on him and he tried to get it out of his pocket, and obviously on the video that showed otherwise.
Yeah.
So you're all done. His partner who was with him that day, Joseph Kozler, was placed on administrative leave during the investigation, but he will not be charged with anything.
I also
there you go.
found it interesting. I looked up some statistics. So out of the 13 recent high-profile cases that were caught on video for African Americans, only 7 of the cases had officers indicted with the charges, or indicted or charged. So the 7 were Terrence Crutcher, which there's still no trial yet.
Yeah.
Philando obviously, we just talked about. Samuel Dubois, his jury deadlocked, not dreadlock,
Dreadlock.
deadlocked.
Where's your brain?
Yes, I'm still at the Jamaican club from yesterday, apparently. Sandra Bland, there was no trial yet. Freddie Gray, 3 were acquitted. There's still kind of some iffy things going on with 3 of the other charges that are going on. Walter L. Scott, there's no trial yet, and Laquan McDonald, there's no trial yet. So I found it really interesting that out of those 13, actually it's a little bit higher than I thought it really was when it added up. I thought it was going to be lesser numbers than that, but still scary.
It's still scary, and it's all been in the news. I think Eric Garner, somebody finally got brought up on charges for him too, in New York. He's the one with the Can't Breathe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so many, you can't remember. But yeah. I'm pretty sure they brought one of the cops now up on charges recently, federally.
Yeah, that one was pending at the bottom of the page, so I think that they're adjusting whatever's
Because
happening.
initially it wasn't going to be nobody for him. But yeah, so good luck to Castillo's family. It's still sad as all get out, and hopefully they're getting through
Well, let me
it.
ask you guys this, and I'd like to get everybody's opinion on this. Do you think he was charged because the pressures of what's going on right now with all the protests and everything that's happened in the last 6 months to a year? Because there were videos in other cases as well, So why do you think that we were happy that this actually stuck this time,
I mean, I would like to believe that they said they were doing the investigation for the last 4 months since I guess it was July when it happened.
Yeah.
So I would like to believe that they saw the evidence and believe the evidence. Because obviously we see these videos,
we've
but
seen
that's
other
only
cases
part.
before.
But that's
Yeah.
only part of the evidence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, we see a video, but that's not everything that is collected. So we don't know all the details of all the evidence in any of the cases. So
I think
This
this
was
one we
like-
saw all angles.
Right.
Where this
Every
one,
single angle.
he
Right.
said he was saying this happened. That entire portion of what he said happened was caught on film. Where
Right.
most of the other cases, it's always right before that.
Yeah.
something
This
else
happened.
happened.
This happened.
Exactly.
Right.
Or you're shielded and you can't actually
Yeah.
see, with the guy that was stopped in the middle of the road in Mississippi and the lady cop that
The
shot
lady cop
him.
shot, yeah.
Yes,
It's
I saw that video.
Yeah, it's crazy.
horrible.
So I would just like to believe that it's a chance that the system's actually working.
Well, that's another thing. Do you think that this is a sign of the future
hope.
of... Right, hope for
Hope for
hope.
hope.
That this is a sign that things will start to change a little bit more now, and hopefully we will have less.
The thing is,
But I
at this
don't
point,
know
it has
if
to
I'm
change
fu-
because the flashlight is on it, and the only way it won't change is if people start. You know what I mean? I know weed is becoming legalized, but we cannot just stay in the back. You got to keep the flashlight on these people and and exactly how this woman said, you need to be talking to your local state representatives. You guys have to get out there and have these conversations because you're not. We're sitting here watching the Kardashians. We're out here running around talking about entertainment, and the point is that we need to get back to our communities. We're so far gone from the community aspect of what America is. And I think that that's where it starts. I think that it's 2016 right now. We have come a long way, not as long as we have liked to be, but we're somewhere new. And that, that this kid is 21 years old and he's in office and
That's so commendable. That's so
beyond
what
You can
education
do
does for you.
it's
Yeah.
just let's
great.
make these changes and stick to it.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, nobody, it's not going to get done for us, is sort of the idea. And, the reality is Trump is possibly, going to have Rudy Giuliani in office who thinks that stop and frisk
Exactly.
should not have been declared
Right.
unconstitutional. So there's definitely
Scary.
movement against that will continue what we've already sort of institutionalized as the method of policing in this country. And it's definitely, looking like that's the direction that government is going to go into unless we step up in the middle of it and make it not the case. And that's going to require constant action all the time for every day over the next 4
Right.
years. It's not let's be mad about it at the election and then okay, go back to my life for the rest of the year because then we're going to pop up and suddenly stop and frisk is going to be a national treasure.
Yeah, which is scary because
it's scary as shit.
It could
It's
easily
totally
happen.
possible.
It's actually possible.
So, and that's only going to perpetuate what already is existing and has been so horrible for all this time. So, anyway, just reiterating.
Dre,
the
what do you
point.
think?
Oh man, I've seen a lot. So I've lived overseas a lot of my life, and coming to the United States was definitely a kick in the ass. I would say I lived in Virginia the first time I moved to the United States, and I never really experienced racism until I moved to the U.S. because everybody on military base was mixed.
How old were you when you moved to the U.S.?
12, 13.
Okay.
So the first time I moved to the U.S., it was just people on the bus didn't know what nationality I was. They thought I was Middle Eastern. They thought I was something else. They called me Chinese, whatever, you know. And it was definitely an eye opener, you know. So I definitely
Welcome to America.
yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that's going on that needs to be changed. So
Yeah. Well, hopefully that change will continue to grow.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our final stories of the day. But before we get to that, I want to remind everyone to go to iTunes, subscribe to us. Also go to YouTube and subscribe to our page. I mean, we've been getting great feedback from you guys and letting us know what you do and don't love
Love your
about the show. We love the comments, and continue to give us that because it helps us to make a great show and, you know, bring on great guests who love coming to Black Hollywood Live. So please make sure to go to our YouTube page and become a subscriber, and also give us comments and subscribe to our iTunes as well.
Join the conversation.
Join the conversation. All right, we're going to move on to our EUR Web Story Spotlight of the Week.
Your web story spotlight of the week.
We're all like,
Yeah. Well, Courtney, you had more of the positive stories. Mine aren't so positive. I was actually really hurt to hear this, but award-winning journalist Gwen Ifill passed away this week due to cancer, and it's just kind of rocked the world of journalism and just the level of just expertise that she had in the field. She died at the age of 61. She was surrounded by her family and friends in a Washington, D.C. hospice. Here's some of her great accomplishments that she's had throughout her years. She was the first African-American woman to host a nationally televised U.S. public affairs program with Washington Week in Review. She was the moderator and managing editor of Washington Week. She was co-anchor and co-managing editor of PBS's NewsHour, and she was also a political analyst and moderated the 2004 and 2008 American Vice President debates. I mean, this woman was phenomenal. She has, so many journalists have kind of spoken and stepped up and talked about how they were shaped by her, you know, and they said she was such a supporter of women and African Americans. They said she was known for hiring other African American women as journalists and producers, and it's going to be a great loss for this field. Don Lemon, he did a really superb tribute to her the other day, and we have a clip here that I'm going to play. It was on CNN tonight, and he got pretty choked up. I got choked up watching it, but here's a clip of it.
But sadly, we have lost her voice. The co-anchor of PBS NewsHour died today from complications from uterine cancer. Gwen was one of the most talented journalists of our time, period. Her accomplishments are literally too many to mention. She moderated presidential debates. She was part of the first all-female anchor team on nightly network news, and on and on. I first met Gwen at a National Association of Black Journalists convention in the mid-90s when I was trying to become an on-air reporter. The woman who I had watched, admired, and loved from afar agreed to critique my first demo tape. I hung on to her every word. Now I have a few words for her. Gwen, you were a black woman who thrived in this brutal business dominated by mostly men. You transcended race and gender. You were simply brilliant and powerful, a quiet storm, professional, understated, humble. I won't give your age because I was taught to never tell or ask a lady's age. And I won't say goodbye because goodbyes are so hard. But I will say, so long and thank you.
I mean,
Derrial, you had to
I
play
can see
that.
why you I can see why you
sorry,
teared out, man.
guys. I mean, it was so powerful when I watched it. You know, I
That's
mean,
very
it's
powerful.
like he said it all. You know, she will be greatly missed, and condolences to her family. And let's kick cancer's ass.
fuck cancer,
Jesus.
man. We gotta
Let's kick
figure it
cancer's
out.
ass. We gotta figure it out.
They'd have, but they ain't giving it to us.
well, but some of it
Well,
they have given.
Yeah, conspiracy theory. All right, on to other conspiracy theories.
They are giving it to us. That's a problem. We have to stop eating
Well, I
it.
didn't mean that.
Stop eating processed
Yeah,
foods.
stop
we
eating
have to
processed
stop
foods.
eating it.
Yeah.
Why my skin do all that?
Right, exactly. On to other conspiracy theories or lack thereof. I don't know what this is. It matters
That's
on
not
how
a
you take
conspiracy.
it.
It's a shit
It's a
show.
blacklist.
It's a
It is.
blacklist. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and preface this by saying you have to bear with me on this because I have to read every single one of these so everyone can get the full feel of what this man is saying. So, Mr. Trump, or I guess I have to call him President
President-elect.
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 Yeah.
He's not in there.
President-elect Trump, he has put out some steps for the Black America community. He wants to help us out, apparently. And he has a 10-step program that he's going to be implementing once he's fully in office. And like I said, bear with me. I'm going to read these step by step, all 10. And some of them are a little longer than others, but I'll try and get through them pretty quickly because I feel like everyone should really hear what these planned goals are. Number 1. We will allow every disadvantaged child in America to attend the public, private, charter, magnet, religious, or home school of their choice. We will also ensure funding for historic Black colleges and universities, more affordable 2- and 4-year college, and support for trade and vocational education. I think I might just pause in between each one and we'll just kind of comment on what do you think about this particular plan of action that he has.
I mean, that one sounds cool.
But it's generic
Where
as
does
shit.
it? That's like, where's the money coming
Okay,
from?
you're gonna fund HBCUs how? With what money?
that's
Where's
exactly.
it coming? Like that? Okay, thanks. It's like Omarosa.
It's like reading the back of a
Right.
Lucky Charms box. Like,
Oh, did you? I'm sorry. A side note. Did you see Omarosa's statement this week that she said that?
Yes, you guys
The
should.
threats.
Oh, when she was crying because she ain't got no friends no more because they don't care that they mad at her for voting. Or
Right,
being on
and then
Trump's
she said
team.
her only point to be with Donald Trump
Was
is
to help black people.
and to be the voice of all black people.
See
yes.
my face?
yes,
Yeah, see our face.
Be the voice
See
of
our
all
face.
black
See Andre's
people.
face.
Her
See
face.
the laughter.
You know what? You know we should not laugh.
She
Stop.
makes me
I'm going
nervous.
to laugh.
We
Don't
need.
laugh at the voice of all
Don't
black
laugh.
people now.
I'm for real, y'all. We need to
For really.
pray or like
Come together.
reach out to something greater for her because she's obviously very confused. Like something is really not like she doesn't fit. She done bought a lie, and that's scary.
No, honey. Yeah, she bought.
She bought a
She
lie.
was sold one.
She was paid a lie.
She bought a
She was paid to lie. All right. All right. Number 2. We will make our community safe. Again, safety is a civil right. We will invest in training and funding both local and federal law enforcement
Child, here it
operations
comes.
to remove the gang members, the drug dealers, and the criminal cartels from our neighborhoods.
Remove them.
The reduction of crime
said
is
from
not
our
merely
neighborhoods?
a goal, but a necessity.
My neighborhood ain't the same as your neighborhood, Donald Trump. You don't walk out of your neighborhood and see what I see. So.
And he's saying remove them. So that whole like stock of federal prisons or private prisons that went up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, or yeah.
That we just- that we
that doesn't
just-
seem
that
like
we
the
just voted on that?
disassembly
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
prison state
Early
that we're already
90s all over
in.
again.
Yeah. All right, number 3. We will apply the law fairly, equally, and without prejudice. There will only be one set of rules, not a 2-tiered system of justice. Equal justice also means the same rules for Wall Street.
Utopia.
Okay, brother.
No, that's impossible. Because
Hey,
when you walk down the street, everybody sees this.
Exactly.
End of story.
Because if that were, I mean,
Drop the
that,
mic,
that
Trey.
already exists. That already
It
exists
does.
on paper.
It does.
It exists on paper. Just we don't abide by it. So what you gonna do about the people who don't abide by
I'm
it?
gonna take his golden little ass.
I love
Right
that he
on
threw
down
in the
Wall
Wall Street, though.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. All right.
and Wall Street.
And Wall Street, right. All right. Number 4, we will lower the business tax from 35% to 15% and bring thousands of new companies to our shores. We will also have a massive middle-class tax cut, tax-free child care savings accounts, and child care tax deductions and credits. We will also have tax holidays for inner-city investment and new tax initiatives to get foreign companies to relocate in American neighborhoods. We will empower cities and states to seek a federal disaster designation for communities in order to initiate the rebuilding of vital infrastructure, the demolition of abandoned properties, and the increased presence of law enforcement.
Again, it like sounds like some good things in there, but then it just also sounds like they just gonna lead us up to some bad shit happening. And
Well-
why are we bringing foreign?
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, the idea
That's
that
actually-
like the cutting the taxes
I know, I
to
like
make
that
small
part.
business, to make this country more, attractive for business to come. Because one of the reasons people don't want to do business here is because our tax code is like ridiculous and it's
Right.
insane and it's difficult. So it's cheaper to do it elsewhere. So trying to make it cheaper for companies to be run here and for people to start companies here is a great idea. The problem, though.
People are laughing at us because we elected a president like Trump.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. We're
that's the
seeing it as a
problem.
joke. I just
Yeah.
feel like this could cause a civil war.
And that didn't sound like it actually attacked the idea that there are countries that, or sorry, there are companies that are technically American companies, but do certain business in other countries, so they can avoid certain taxes here. Period. Like so he didn't really address.
He didn't address that.
Really, I don't.
But that's where I'm getting confused. So what he is by him doing this, that would, in theory, make those companies want to come back and do.
In theory, but
would.
technically,
But why would they wanna
still
come back?
That's what I'm saying, but why would they
and
technically
even in
want
that,
to?
like cutting
Yeah.
the tax code and in practice, like if anything, I think it'll help small business in this
Right.
country more.
Right.
But like big corporations, like it's never going to be cheaper to do business in America with American workers
Right.
because we have certain codes and standards that third world countries and other
Exactly,
countries
yeah.
don't have. So I don't.
Do you
Really,
guys also think we're moving in a generation though that cares more if it is bought in America, if it is created here in America? Because I mean, me as a human,
I don't think so.
I've grown as the older I've gone, I've started to pay attention to that and
I think
supported that.
I think that's still a very small segment of the
I do too.
population because
Yeah,
in the
agreed.
end, we still care more about it being cheaper
Right.
than it being made here.
Exactly.
I mean, don't get it twisted. I'll be in that 99-cent store.
Well, there you go.
And that means that people can
No,
have to
that shit
stop
was
shopping
made
at
in
H&M.
Indonesia.
I know.
And that means people have to stop shopping at
Every-
H&M, and that's not going to happen.
right.
Every third
Well,
week.
there you go.
looks good.
Right here.
No, right here. But I do like the middle class tax cut and the tax-free childcare. I mean, if that really
that's
takes
helpful.
place,
That's helpful.
that's huge. All right,
Next for you is all about saving up money, y'all. Okay.
that's what you got to do. All right, because there's not going to be any retirement. So, all right, on number 5.
Oh yeah, but we knew that like
We
10
knew that a
years
long
ago.
time ago.
Saving
We
up
will have
money.
financial reforms to make it easier for young African Americans to get credit to pursue their dreams in business and create jobs in their communities. We will also encourage small business creation by allowing social welfare workers to convert poverty assistance into repayable but able microloans.
I think that's an interesting concept.
I don't.
But my question is how?
Well, because it sounds like what he was saying is that instead of, because the whole idea of like the welfare state got screwed up because it is more beneficial to just stay on welfare than it is to go find a job.
Right. That's
But
right.
if what I'm hearing and thinking I'm understanding, he's saying that they're trying to adjust it in a way that like you would also be able to use those welfare benefits in terms of a loan to maybe start a business or do something else. So that's the creative
How are
way.
you gonna pay that loan back?
Well, if you actually start a business with the money
Right.
and it works, then you pay it back
Then you
like
pay
you would
back
pay it
after
back
getting
anything
revenue.
else.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I think too that I mean, obviously there is details and details, but like he said something about credit and like teaching credit in this.
Yeah, so we will have financial reforms to make it easier for young African Americans to get credit to pursue their dreams in business and
I
create
think
jobs.
make it easier to get credit is probably not a good plan. I think that's a fuck up of all of the youth in this country, which is why we have a debt situation as
Right,
it is, and most
exactly.
families have at least $15,000 worth of credit card debt. I think we need to figure out how to make people understand how credit works in this country,
true.
and that is more the issue than getting easy credit.
I would say that there's a lack of knowledge on just even. I'm still surprised at how many of my young cousins just don't even.
It should actually be a requirement
In
of high
school.
school,
Yeah, they
like
should be
that you
grade-
take
it should start in
under
grade
grade
school.
like
Right.
starting out, like but like a legit like
Yep.
life economics kind of class. Because I
Absolutely.
took economics in high school, but we
Yeah.
was learning about mass economics. We
Right.
weren't
It
learning
didn't
about
apply
like
to real
what's
life.
your credit card mean and how
Yeah,
this pay and what this
savings.
means
Right.
and like none of that.
And the amount of my friends that literally hang their credit up and take motherfucking like it's a gun range.
yeah,
and just shoot
it
I'm
down.
like,
And they're like, oh, whatever. 7
you
years.
did what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, was this the? I don't know if it was this I was reading where he was saying to take welfare offices and instead to change them into, instead of you going to take classes for jobs, they would basically turn the welfare center into something where they would get you a job. It was almost like to turn it into a temp agency.
It wasn't on these 10.
It
but
wasn't?
Maybe, well, let's see. Let's see. All right, number 6.
'Cause
We
that
will
one
stop
was
the massive chronic trade deficits that have emptied out our jobs. We will stop the offshoring of companies to low-wage countries and raise wages at home, meaning rent and bills become instantly more affordable. We will tell executives that if they move their factories to Mexico or other countries, we will put a 35% tax on their product before they ship it back into the United States.
I agree with that.
I mean,
if it's an American company that's choosing to leave for cheaper labor, I do think when they're sending the product back that we should make that more of a challenge for them. But in the end, that hurts the consumer, so it's sort of a pain. But at the same time, if we're trying to encourage like the maintenance of some sort of manufacturing here, then I get it. But I also think it's like a joke of a concept that we're going to bring all these manufacturing jobs back to America. It's just not the world that we live in anymore.
No, I mean, but it seems like, I feel like he wants to change. I feel like that is one area that he wants to really delve into and change. I feel like he
really
wants to bring
build up
that
the
back.
mom and pop
yeah,
shops.
I feel like that's what he wants to do. Like the way old Detroit used to be.
But mom and pop shops and manufacturing conglomerate that's talking about are two very different things.
I mean, true. That's true.
It's like for me, just growing up with natives, and it's just such a different world. But you in trade, and you just go back to that theory of what, when I think of where they started from here in America, to take that concept and to somehow try to apply it to the way America should be. I mean, I don't know. That's why I guess me personally, I've just been looking at where products are made and that kind of stuff, because it is important, and it is to refund, to pay back and to make our country great. I think that's. I don't know.
I mean, it's going to be a requirement for us to care about that if we really want to shift what we're doing economically.
Everything's going to end up being expensive.
Yeah.
Just like that's why Australia is so expensive. That's why people can't afford to live there. Their import tax is so high. And it costs, like one of my friends is Australian. She's like, to even have a 1-bedroom apartment there, it's like close to $1 million. No joke.
Damn.
Like no joke.
Man, well,
who the hell is living in Australia?
Yeah. No, it's that's why when they come over here, it's so cheap for them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find me an Australian man.
All right, number 7. This one I find very interesting. We will restore the civil rights of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and all Americans by ending illegal immigration. We will reform visa rules to give American workers preference for jobs, and we will suspend reckless refugee admissions from terror-prone regions that cost taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars. We will use a portion of the money saved by enforcing our laws and suspending refugees to reinvest in our inner cities.
Now,
I find that so damn interesting, though.
Can you read that first sentence just one more time?
We will restore the civil rights of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and all Americans by ending illegal immigration.
Stop. Why were Black Americans and Hispanic Americans singled out to begin with? Why are you restoring our civil rights? Aren't they supposed to exist to begin with?
Well, to me, this is also very much a low-key dig at Middle Easterns and
yes,
obviously,
it is.
And all,
and
that's
all Americans.
And all Americans. And then at the end when he says we will, what does it say? Suspend reckless refugee admissions. I'm like,
Okay. I mean, I wish he just had said all Americans.
Yeah, I mean,
Because, I do understand how, the immigration problem here has, illegal immigration has affected our country. However, when you single out those two, African Americans and Mexican, it makes me think agenda here, because those were the two groups that you really offended. And then to not put Middle Eastern or anything of that, it's kind of like
whoever wrote this
gross.
Was not bright. Not bright.
Maybe
Profile.
Let me not talk about our first
the
lady. I might get in
reckless,
trouble.
what did it say? The reckless refugee, whatever, reckless.
It says that we will reform visa rules to give American workers preference for jobs, and we will suspend reckless refugee admissions from terror-prone regions that cost taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars.
Here's what I want. Just because of that, I just got to say this one thing. Number one, I want receipts for all these American jobs that are stolen by all these horrible immigrants, that the Americans really want these jobs and would take them if these immigrants weren't here. Number one,
would take them.
Take them.
Exactly.
I want to see the receipts. That's number one. And number two, the reckless refugee crisis, whatever. The fact we've allowed refugees to come to this country for years.
Sure.
That's sort of our moral stance, to protect humankind. If some bullshit's going down, we gonna protect these people.
Right.
To suddenly decide because we're scared of something bigger that's going on, that suddenly these women and children that have been vetted, and we have a system that we have used for years to vet people and make sure that they're as safe as we possibly can, and determine that that's unacceptable and it's reckless and that these people don't deserve to have refugee from the same thing that we're trying to protect ourselves from, is disgusting to me, and it doesn't say anything about who we're supposed to be as America. So I think that's bullshit, and I'm sorry, Donald Trump. I know everybody's out there scared, like, oh, we're gonna get all these Syrians and they're gonna blow us up. Bro, you need to worry about your neighbor next door, because he probably the one gonna blow you up. It ain't the Syrians that's coming over here.
At this stage, yeah. I mean, I agree and I disagree with you on that, but I think we need to monitor it to an extent, but just keep all the safety rules.
But they're making it seem like we're like throwing people on a boat and like just docking them wherever. Like there's a whole it's a serious process to get a refugee to get admitted into this country.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, to me, it feeds ignorance of people who are already afraid, and they're like, oh my God, they're just like letting them come in. No, they're not just letting them come in.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
That's true. All right, we're going to get through these last three so we can talk to Andre about his great web series. All right. Number 8, we will leverage public-private partnerships and private investments through tax incentives to spur $1 trillion in infrastructure investment over 10 years, of which the inner cities will be a major beneficiary. We will cancel all wasteful climate change spending from Obama, Clinton, including all global warming payments to the United Nations. We will use these to help build the vital infrastructure, including water systems in America's inner cities.
That's the most bullshit.
That's so dirty though, because he threw them under the bus,
course he did.
and then of course he tried to like relate to the black community by saying, we're gonna help out Detroit, we're gonna help out Michigan with the water situation.
Trump, how about
As
you?
if the black condition only exists in the inner
Detroit,
cities,
Flint.
number
Right.
one. Like, the inner
Exactly.
cities is an American problem. It's not a black people problem.
Right.
Like, it's okay. I love you, Donald Trump.
Teach
You're
us
gonna be
about green
amazing.
energy. Teach that. Do that. If you can, in the next
he
4
doesn't
years.
want to invest.
I know
in
he don't.
that.
But then add Bush's name in there, and then let's learn about sustainable living. Why don't you do that for the next 4 years? Do that.
I love how he hyphenated though, Obama hyphen
Of course he
Clinton.
did.
All right, number 9, we will protect religious liberty, promote strong families, and support the African American church. He just did go on the news this week and say there's no problem with the gays. He did say that.
Wait, the African American church, just the African American church. Did you say
And
that?
support the African
Did you
American
say
church.
that
We will
because someone
protect
spray painted
religious liberty,
Trump
promote strong families, and support the
Yeah.
African American church.
He's speaking to the black community.
But what did he say about the gays?
Well, he was on this week talking about, I have no problem with
Yeah, he totally said, he's like, yeah, I don't think he's rolled back his like position
his
about
position on-
LGBTQ and like marriage. So we're thinking that might be safe.
Yeah.
But
Oh, Lord
reproductive rights are not.
Right. All right, last one. We will stop trying to build Democrats overseas, wasting trillions, but focus on defeating terrorists and putting America first.
This is the song that doesn't.
I mean,
All right.
hey, you know,
We will see.
I just have one thing to say about Trump. I think everybody's, we're all valid in our own opinions, but I think people that, what would you guys say if Trump gave a stimulus check out? I think more people would like him because of that.
Yeah, more people
I mean,
like
people
Bush
like
for that.
everybody will like a check.
Everybody like a check.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to become a golden person when
But
you...
then if you remember,
Which
the
is
stimulus
crazy to
check
me.
didn't do very much.
It didn't do much. I spent it in a week.
Exactly.
Right.
Except put us further into debt. So.
Right. I was going to say, it actually put us further into debt. So, how would you feel about it?
I mean, I think everybody would change their mind. I mean, middle of America, the people that are not educated in what's going on in the real world would love him because of it. People that say that they hate him right now, they got a check from him, they're like, oh my God, Trump's the best.
He's the
Right.
And they would
Right.
change their mind.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
that's the scary part about it.
Yeah.
Now you're
You know,
giving
that
him
money
that
changes
idea.
people. You know, so that's.
But to their defense, are people just so far in debt and just like frustrated with economically with what's going on that any little thing would help them? So they.
Yeah.
But like you said, it needs to go from the schools up, and they need to
Sure,
teach
yeah.
that from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Like at this point, we just have to know, like anyone from the age of 20, 25, we all fuck. So what we need to
me.
Well, no, what we need to do is teach these young children so
True.
that way they can. We are, because at the end of the day, we're living in a shithole of an earth.
Right.
So it's about teaching these kids and making sure. I forget what the quote is, but it's we didn't borrow this land from our ancestors. We are borrowing it from our children. And that's what we have to keep in mind here is that we have to be creating living the life that we want our children to have.
Yeah.
And we're not doing that because we are this generation of selfishness
Yeah.
that is just so into watching other people's hot messes, and we don't care anymore. And we have to get back to the people of being able to touch people, connect with them, and not like their fucking shit on, like, sorry, I just can't. Like, this week has just been, like, eye-opening on this. I can't.
Good.
I mean, well, we'll see if that changes back
I mean, it
around.
ain't,
I
because
don't
now
know.
we have a reality star
yeah.
for president, and a Celebrity Apprentice comes back right as he comes into office.
Isn't
So that's
that
great.
brilliant?
Great marketing, Donald.
that brilliant?
Marketing.
Wow.
Great
You know what?
marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, honestly, because I thought about it. I think, was this the show I was telling you? It literally hasn't been on the whole time he was running.
Yeah.
No.
And that was on purpose.
Yeah.
They
Well,
pushed
they
it back.
legally couldn't put it on or something because
So who's gonna be
it's
doing the show?
advertising for him technically or something.
But he's
like
not
that.
on the show.
It
It's
doesn't
Arnold
matter.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Even better.
You're terminated.
Hey, who would have thought he would be a governor? But he became a governor.
I think it's such an appropriate person for him to take over the show
To
because
switch.
that he
Yeah.
is. That I think it's
No,
just
it's another. Haha.
right.
It's like, really?
Right. All right. Well, that
What
concludes
is
our hot
this?
topics and the topic of Trump for the day because I am
I
exhausted.
feel like I'm
from
at the
it.
carnival of mirrors, like with the weird.
Yeah, I
like,
just feel,
this
feel
weird
like
shit.
it's just
Yeah.
all a big joke, and I'm just waiting for the joke bubble to be popped because it just doesn't seem real. But anyway, we're gonna move on to a positive
Something that
subject.
is real.
Something that is real is Andre Boyo's web series, My
Yes.
So-Called Co-Star Life.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Man,
sir.
so describe it to everybody because I watched some of it and it's hilarious.
Thank you.
You call yourself
Very
like
funny.
the Will Smith, but not the real Will Smith.
Yeah. So My So-Called Co-Star Life is a mashup of 90s sitcoms. Everyone grew up. Well, I grew up overseas in Japan, and I only had a couple TV shows to watch: Boy Meets World, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, Different World, TGIF, et cetera, et cetera.
The good ones.
Yeah, the great
Those are the only ones that
Full
matter.
The ones that
House.
matter.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I watched Will Smith as a kid. You know, he was the biggest guy on that network of television shows that I watched. And I was like, man, I want to be just like Will. And everybody that I, watched TV with wanted to be like Will Smith. So I finally moved to San Diego and got my first acting break on Veronica Mars and, went to school and college down there. And I decided to make this show. And I mean, I was like, who else could I name it? Who could I name this character after besides my guy that I look up to?
That's genius.
Will Smith. You know what I mean? And, it's not the Will Smith. It's, a guy who happens to be Will Smith, the name, and how he dictates his life in Los Angeles.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's great. It's funny, and I can't wait to share season 2 that I'm shooting in 2017.
So you haven't started
funny.
shooting yet, so you can't really tell us.
Every season's gonna be a mashup of a 90s sitcom. So the next season's gonna be like The Wonder Years meets Different World.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna have-
Wow, Wonder Years meets Different
Yeah,
World. That's
so-
a hell of a comparison right there.
So so it's gonna be really different. I rap in the first season in the music video,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna probably have a singing intro, and you know how Daniel Stern or David Stern played the voiceover of Kevin in the show. I'm gonna have some guy do the voiceover instead of me.
Cool.
So I'm really excited to do that, and there's a lot of positivity with the show. I can't.
You get a lot of burn.
Yeah.
And you were nominated for Burbank International Film Festival for Best Mobile, but that was for another project.
For another project, yeah. I come from a web series family. I did a web series called Prom Queen back in the day. Michael Eisner put a lot of money into web series before they were like really popular. And I was one of the first African American kids on a series like that. So I got nominated for an Emmy for the best directing, etc. And it got picked up by Warner Brothers. And from then on, I was like, okay, I'm in the web world now, and what else is next? So it's producing and making my own content and getting my voice heard.
What was one of your
Fantastic.
biggest struggles as going, acting, then going into producing, and getting your first project out?
Biggest struggles. Man, there's so many to talk about. I mean, I can talk about this. I'm not going to name names, but I was in a casting room one time.
What's the name?
Man, it's a big show on. It's a big
Write it-
show.
write it down
It's a
and
big
I'll
show
write it
on
down. I won't
Fox
say it.
right now.
I'll say it.
It's on Fox right now.
Empire.
No. And the casting director said, "You know what? You're not black enough."
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And this is
yeah.
in front of the producer. This is in front of the director.
Wow.
I go to testing, you know what I mean? It goes to that level.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I know what you mean. But it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Not to be
Yeah.
black enough.
You wanna
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the voice that I'm putting into my show. What does it mean to be not black enough? Because all I see is this.
Yeah.
All people see is this. just because I'm educated, just because I'm well-spoken. There's plenty of me like that. There's plenty of well-spoken black men that are out there.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's a shame that people only see.
Courtney doesn't believe that, but we've had this argument on the show before.
Shut up! That is not true.
Yeah, she has. Yep, she has.
He's mad because I make fun of him, but
No, sorry. No.
that's
He only dates white girls.
personal.
That's not true.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just so true. People like want to live up to that stereotype, and I refuse to let that happen. You know, I have a voice, and it's going to be heard. So whether it be in this show or something else that I create, it's going to be heard. So
what's kind of like your formula to stand out in the web series world? Because we just did something this year where we were at I forgot the exact name of the award show, but I didn't realize how many just web series were out there, and it's almost like what television used to be. You know? It's like how do you have your series stand out among all the rest?
Production value, people that you want to work with, whether it be celebrities, whether it be people that have another voice in this world. I say your PR, your firm, your agency. I mean, there's a lot of different places, I believe, that will make you stand out. I think your voice, your voice and your story will definitely stand out from most. The way you cut things, the way you edit things. I mean, there's a couple other web series that I've been watching as well, and what makes them stand out is the storyline.
Yeah.
You know, how actors work with each other, camaraderie, and whether you feel it, So I think that's what stands out the most.
So would you tell someone who's, these kids who listen to us who are in Ohio or places that, it's not the easy access like LA and New York and these big cities bring, would you say that creating a web series for them is the way to go versus like hauling that bus on down to the West Coast or East Coast and just, hitting the pavement? Or
I mean, I think it depends on
first?
who you are. I think the person that wants to move out here should move out here. If you have to drive, you have to have a sickening work ethic to live out here. You guys know
Ain't
that.
it the truth?
I have a sickening work ethic. Like when I'm not here, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Before this, I was on my phone doing something. For the people that live in Ohio, if they want to create a web series, do it. Do it with your friends. It's cheap, it's easy, and you learn from that. Promote it through YouTube. There's free things out there, Instagram, Twitter, that you can help promote. There's people that you can talk to, like me, verified people that you can talk to, like Aziz Ansari. They tweet back, believe it or not.
Yes,
People
they
tweet
do.
back.
They do, and they'll look at it. Believe it or not, they will look at it, and if it's good enough, they'll see it. That's what happened with the girls from
Broad City.
Broad City.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know exactly. They're phenomenal. You
Yep.
know, Amy Poehler and
Poehler.
Tina
Yeah.
Fey saw
Yeah.
it and picked them up right.
Yeah.
The guys from Workaholics.
Yep.
They got picked up right away.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of time. It's a matter of what voice you have. If they want to do it, but make sure you have enough drive, enough initiation, enough whatever it is. Whatever it is, just to do it and put it out there.
How do you see the web space sort of changing or growing or evolving? Because it's sort of like it's almost like it still isn't quite all figured out
Right,
for a lot
yeah.
of people.
Right.
So like, do you, just having worked in it for a while and sort of been in, that's like a niche for you. Like, where do you see it sort of evolving out to be, or what?
I think it's going to grow into something bigger. Like Xbox has their own production company.
Yeah.
Sony PlayStation has. So I think it's just going to grow from there.
Okay.
I feel like if the YouTube stars were smart, and I know Vine just ended, but if they were smart, they should have started their own production companies and did their own thing. So it would have blossomed. Unfortunately, that probably didn't happen because they spent all their
most,
money from
yeah.
whatever. But I think it is going to grow. It's just a matter of the right people doing it. And I'm going to be one of them. So
I feel boom, bam. And on that note, I like ending on a positive note like that. So where can people find you, tweet you? Because they obviously want to ask you a bunch of questions.
Awesome.
Real.
You can tweet at me at Andre Boyer. You can find me on Instagram at @theAndreBoyer, and you can watch my show on mycostarlife.com.
And when's the new season coming out?
2017.
All right.
Yes,
and
sir.
like any particular month or just look for it?
I'm thinking summer, but I'm not sure. I'm slated to do 2 movies next
Okay.
year. So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Coined up.
Hallelujah.
we'll see. But it's
love
definitely written and ready to go.
All right. Courtney, where can fans find you?
You can find me everywhere at Stuart Starlet.
Boom, DJ Jesse J.
And you can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on The Walking Dead for AfterBuzz TV on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Peace.
Thank you.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.